Hi guys, welcome back to the Conscious Kingdom. I'm Alex Roseman.
And I'm Julia Fitisova. Hi guys.
Hi. So we really want you to know that we've listened to you, we've listened to your comments. This is why I really suggest that you write down anything you're feeling down so that we can lift it out and talk about it. And today we have a really awesome and interesting topic request, which is the impact of social media and how to navigate those tricky waters to preserve mental health.
Thank you so much for asking these questions, for reaching out. It is an important question to ask because social media is something that we are so used to right now, but this is something that hasn't even been part of our reality for so many years, right? And it is important to address the subject because there are so many different researches that has been linked to different mental health disorders because of that and all of the different types of struggles that people face.
Well, you've seen it probably recently, Facebook whistleblowers, what's it all about? And ironically, us shooting here to go onto the platforms, we're talking about social media. So we want to explore the irony of it and, of course, how it's a tool. It can be used to lift people up or make people feel deeply insecure about themselves and really showcase our inner fears, or it can really showcase our best attributes and how that make other people feel. So it's a projection.
Yeah.
It's all a big projection, and we want to help you navigate how to use it to better enhance your life, your family's life, and everybody around you, rather than making you feel isolated and feeling desperate and all the other negative emotions that come with social media. So let's look into this one. Multiple studies have found a strong link between heavy social media and an increased risk for depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and even suicidal thoughts. Social media may promote negative experiences such as inadequacy about your life or appearance.
I always describe social media as a magnifying glass because what it does is that it highlights what is going on within us all, and whatever inner struggles that we have or whatever inner insecurities we have, as well as what we have to share with the world, is being magnified by social media and sped up 100 times, right?
This is exactly what it does. It really does speed up. I mean, look, this is a new time for everybody. We've never had a moment in history that everything we can possibly see or have experiences of are right there in our fingertips 24 hours a day. And of course, there's chemical releases of certain things that we see and we're seeking for that, like any drug, the oxytocin is released. You're stressed out because of something you've seen on social media, so the cortisol level rising. We really are a victim of our own emotions. So it's not about the social media, it's about what's going on within yourself and what is it activates. And really, once you're aware of this, then it's about preserving your inner equilibrium so that you're not disturbed by the social media and everything that's out there, because there's so much of everything. And you've got to wonder yourself, why am I searching for certain things? What am I actually seeking within myself that I'm putting out there? Social media has the answers, has the power, has the truth. This is a guiding back to yourself. This is a roadmap back to you. And this is what we want to use social media for. It's just to go back to yourself. And if you start to switch off and you found it within yourself, then that's great. I'm not sure how that means for our followers. They start to go minus, then we know we've done the right job, I think, when you see you guys disappearing.
Yeah, but it depends. At the end of the day, it depends how the social media is being used. So why it has been so strongly linked to narcissism. Narcissism is something that is innately in all of us. We all have narcissistic traits, but social media can have that effect of an outlet that is an immediate gratification of needs. What do I mean by that? You post a picture. As soon as you post a picture, you get feedback from people. You get likes. You get, comments. It creates that platform for the interaction of validation of a certain image that we put out there. And let's face it, I mean, majority of things that you see on Facebook and Instagram and whatever social media is not actually real. It has been photoshopped, it has been edited, the angles, the time that is being spent, the amount of money that people are earning by creating the influencers pathway. And This is the new phenomenon because people really learned how to monetize a certain image, a certain persona that is so easy to be faked and to be shown on the social media as the real deal. But if you actually look behind and you really look inside those people, this is nothing close to the truth.
Well, what is it they're peddling? And I have this phrase, what is their intention with your attention? Attention is the most valuable commodity there is. I thought it was time, but I think, these companies, big tech companies or whatever it is propped up this value of being billions and billions. Well, how do they get there? Well, they've grabbed your attention, right? Facebook has got pretty much, we'll pull up the statistics, I know half the world is on Facebook. So, of course, they're going to be worth billions of dollars because they have your attention. But what is their intention for your attention? Is it to connection? Is it some of these aspects? Well, you see these influencers out there. Well, what is it they're peddling? How are they getting endorsements? Is it because of advertising, right? Peddling products that maybe are not something that you need, but there's a lot of this swirling money around the world, and trade that's been going on. COVID has shown what's really necessary and what really isn't, because people don't need useless products as much anymore. So when you have influencers pushing for things out there, you don't really need it. So what's their intention? What is their intention for your attention?
Yeah, exactly. And it creates a certain reality that is not real. It creates an illusion. This propped up world that looks like a real world and that has all the necessary attributes and the people and really the environment that has been created. But the reality of it is that it is just a fabricated reality that people choose to escape into in order to perhaps not have to face the fears and the difficulties in their real life. And this is the real danger. This is how the separation actually starts. When I was doing my course back in London over 10 years ago, it was social media studies. Internet has only started to peep its head out, and they were discussing the whole idea of what does internet actually represent for us all. And they were labeling it as the connected disconnectedness, so something along those lines, which is a dichotomy really. We are all connected, as we always said before, that evolution is defined by how quickly the information gets spread throughout the world. And this is what internet really does. It didn't just double it or quadruple it, it multiplied it 100 times. So with that information out, people are connected now more than ever. You can send each other messages and receive them within seconds. You can always be connected to somebody no matter which part of the world you're in. I mean, this is the luxury we didn't have when we were growing up. We had those cord telephones and we just said, I'm going to meet you there, at that time. And that's all it was to it. So we are all connected, but how are we connected really? Because behind that screen, it is so much easier to hide. Yeah. Behind that screen, it is so easy to fabricate and falsify even the conversations. I mean, how many times you see scammers out there that have created these personas that are not even them? Catfished, for example. You were an example of that.
Yeah, I've had a couple of times where people have used my image in order to be perceived as something, their own inadequacies about themselves, having to use my image. Maybe it's a safeguard to protect themselves. People have different reasons of why they're using it. They need it in order to get something from you. And I've actually spoken to some of the victims of this who have thought they've been talking to me for 6 months. And they reached out to me because they found my real face and who I actually was in Connected to the Conscious Kingdom for the most recent one. And I actually spoke to her, and having to turn her mindset from being a victim of this and going, what did you gain from it? Because it takes two people. If I went now, oh, this is really terrible and all this, but what did you learn from it? She fell in love with this fictitious character ultimately. And I said, well, you haven't felt this way since your ex-husband. Well, you know what? Then this is a gift to show you that there was love there. Because was it that person who made you love again, or was it yourself? And this person, catfisher, whatever you want to call it, really helped her come out and see something that she had kept hidden. So there was a positive of it, but it's also not to be made a fool of what you see on here. You know, believe it and don't believe it. Always find yourself in the middle of whatever you see, including us. You know, whatever we're sharing. You know, what's our intention here? Our intention really is to give you the truth so that you can make your own decisions with your eyes wide open. When they're a little bit closed or they're completely closed, you'll find out this becomes a harsh reality when you finally wake up to the illusion. And we want to save you from the slap from it as much as we can, because we've gone through a few slaps in our experiences, you know, before we met each other, and since we met each other. Our eyes are keep opening and opening and opening to the point where we want to share this with you.
So, as we have mentioned before, there has been strong research that's linking social media to all sorts of mental illnesses, including depression, loneliness, low self-esteem, self-harm. All of that is a result of what we have mentioned before. It is a certain disconnection from the reality of where we're living right now, and you know, the fabricated reality that is being supported by the internet. If you're going on Facebook, you'll see so many people almost competing with one another with how many, you know, friends they have, how many followers they have. And you know, the honest truth about this all, how many of those people can you honestly say are your friends? So what it does, it creates this false illusion that you are popular, but you are only popular in this kind of you know, illusory playground, right? So what do you want to say? If you do feel like you are helpless, you're disconnected from, you know, from yourself, you're feeling lonely, you have a low self-esteem, what we would say is that please choose your content carefully. You know, the importance of discernment in our choices in our life, not just talking about the social media, but in anything that we choose to eat, because it's really an ingestion of information. Being conscious enough and being smart enough to respect your own self, to feed yourself the information that is improving your well-being, that is making you think about yourself and your life in a different light. And this is why we are here, and we hope we can, you know, help you nurture that relationship with yourself.
Well, going back to this story is featured in BBC's Futures Best of 2018 collection, where 3 billion people, around 40% of the world's population, use online social media. And we're spending an average of 2 hours every day sharing, liking, tweeting, and updating on these platforms, according to some reports. That breaks down to around 500,000 tweets and Snapchat photos shared every minute. With social media playing such a big part in our lives, could we be sacrificing our mental health and well-being as well as our time? And what does the evidence actually suggest? You know, it comes down to, you know, responsibility, right? Obviously it's all there. You can have a kid in a candy shop and it's all right in front of you. Now you can gorge yourself and be sick of it. It's always there. Every day you are in this candy shop, and the responsibility again lies with you. And we can blame it here and blame it there and blame it everywhere else. But it's about what is it that you're seeking with yourself through social media. If you're looking to gorge and be sick about something, that means you need to look within yourself. It's there, but what is it about yourself that needs the drive is making you do this? And you know, you can be upset, deeply depressed, something that I've been myself, and so I really have empathy for you here. And the anxiety and all of this stuff, when you're comparing yourself to others, is a deadly trap, because you'll never be happy, all right? And unfortunately, social media and all of these sort of tools, intentionally or not, are there to designed to make you feel inadequate, so that you emotionally want to buy something in order to fill that gap. They need to create that void within yourself, because if you don't have any emotional void within yourself that you're missing something and they have it, then they can't sell you something. So it's innately set up that way for you to feel that way. Otherwise it doesn't work. But the person who can fill that gap is only you. Nobody else can. And when you do that, then there is no nobody can tell you that you're not enough. And if you tell yourself that you are enough, then nobody has anything to give you. There's no one, because you have it. So then you can just watch it all. The myriad of all of this, the shop, the candy everybody's offering. You go, I'm full up. I don't need it. But I'm watching, and maybe I can help those who think they're hungry and help them to show that they're not really hungry for this. Maybe they just need a nourishing meal, which is a real conversation, to hear something that is deeply nourishing for the soul and mind, not any of this illusion.
Yeah, because what basically the social media has done, it has shortened our attention span, right? So us flicking through the information very quickly without even absorbing it in enough, it creates content that is quite shallow. It's a very
It's quick. It's like fast food.
fast food. It's the same thing as fast food. So you basically have this void that you constantly need to fill in with new content, but that content is empty. It's like you said, eating fast food. So the same thing goes on for not just the attention spam, it's the gratification, the instant gratification, the instant payoff. So what it does is creates a shallower relationship with ourselves and a shallower relationship with our peers. I mean, the dating world has gone through an overhaul ever since the social media has boomed. There are so many people who think, like you said, are having a conversation and a relationship with people on social media. And then when they meet, there is a shock. More than that, they have to keep up this idea of themselves that they've been promoting through all the pictures they've been sending, all the videos they've been sending. It's hard work. And how honest is it? Well, ask yourself.
It's something, again, it's like in our own lives. It's another projection, social media. We know it, but we don't want to see it. We know that it's not real, but we want to believe it's real. That's what props these people up, right? That's the only thing. You prop it up, not they prop it up. It's up to you to prop up the illusion. Some people can see it and go, no, thank you. They already know. But other people are mesmerized. But the car and then this and they're like, but they're saying it, so it must be true. We're innately, beings want to trust one another. It's innately in us. And you may have seen the film The Big Short. So there's a character in it who saw the whole collapse in 2008 because he was a rare individual who's skeptical about people, really skeptical, and he doesn't trust people so easily. So this character saw all of this happen in front of his eyes, but you can't live life like that. You need to trust people, right? And people will take advantage of that. So it's about trusting, but not trusting with your eyes closed. When the more aware you are within yourself, the less you'll be deceived by others, and the more you can enjoy this world not as a victim, but as someone playing full out in their life, as the main star of your movie, because you can, rather than being the victim or the extra of your movie, you want to really put everything out there. And when you have that self-awareness and you're really, and I mean deeply aware of yourself, you can really start to show up as your true authentic self. And when you do that, your whole life will shift automatically. And that's what people really want to see on social media.
Yeah. And another thing is, please do your research. Please do your research before you are trusting anybody with your money, with your attention, with your time. Because we have seen, unfortunately, horrific examples of people that we know, that have posed themselves as this millionaires, billionaires, owners of companies, and philanthropists, and this incredibly rich and successful human beings. And based on that, made a lot of people invest into them because they were showcasing cars and apartments and you name it. That was on the stolen money, on the money of the people that have invested in them, on their trust. That has happened to me, unfortunately.
It's like a social media pyramid scheme.
Yeah.
It's taking money, literally stealing money, and then propping that illusion by buying all the stuff with the stolen money that I can make money with another tool, which they'd never used themselves. They literally stolen, and then they prop them up, and more people invest in this idea, then they take more, and then they build their life up, and it's all just smoke and mirrors.
It's a scam. And the thing is that they even get the kickoff from people investing in them more, and they feel somehow powerful and strong and influential. And that's the real danger, because they get to escape themselves and escape the truth about who they truly are. If they were honest with themselves, they'll know they're scammers, they'll know they're criminals, they know they're liars. But they choose to look away at all of those followers, which are, most of them can be bought and fake, that just gives them enough of a barrier to let people to not be close enough to dig into them enough, but expose enough information so that they trust them enough. So that is the real danger. And like I said, we've seen it in our own lives. We've seen these people in front of us rising up and crushing and burning in the same instant almost.
We're sharing literally from our own experience
Yeah.
of actually living this. So we're not saying it because we've read it somewhere. I mean, we're reading some, real facts and statistics, but we're sharing our experiences because ultimately, if people who are smart and wise can be duped, then anybody can be duped, right? And it's not about beating yourself up if you have. It's about speaking up to prevent others from having it done to them. And it means your voice. So we would love to hear your voice. And if you've been duped or anything's happened, there's certain characters out there, we can do our research. Maybe we can talk about it and help you heal through your experiences rather than feeling like you have to hide away, because people need brave people to stand up, as we've gone through this ourselves, to share their experience, because that will set you free, not hiding from it, because it allows those, the smoke and mirrors, the people out there, to carry on doing what they do, because victims usually hide away and don't want to speak about it out of the fear of shame. And here is a channel to say, hey, there's nothing about being shamed. It's called experience and learning, but not to be trapped by that experience as somehow you're less because of it. When you speak about it, you're more because you want to liberate others from it, because you're not the only one. There are a ton of other people out there, and there'll be still a ton of people who will be convinced in this sham until people speak up.
So use this platform to speak up. Use this opportunity to make it a clear and clean channel for your own communication of your inner authentic truth, of your inner self. Allow the space for other people to show up for themselves and for each other, so that the communities can start building based on trust. In our ideal world, we would not need any contracts, because there is enough trust between each other. In the ideal world, there is transparency in all the communication, all the deeds that we have done, so that nobody needs to back check anyone. Of course, this is something that we're working towards, and the world is far from it for now, but
the intention is out there, at least.
Yeah, but considering how fast it has all been developing, it's the same thing with energy. Like, there's no such thing as bad energy or good energy, right? There's only such thing as energy, and it only gets colored by our thought. The same thing with any tools that you might be granted in your life. That can be the tool of resources like monetary resources. It can be the tool of the social media platforms, internet. It can be the tools of, human resources. All of that are tools, and they're not bad or good, as well as experiences. They're only bad or good if you label them that, depending on which intention and thought you give it. So if the internet and social media is available there for you, use it with discernment and use it as a space for your own self-expression and your own growth, rather than supporting other people's growth who might not even be real.
People use social media to vent about everything from customer service to politics. But the downside to this is that our feeds often resemble an endless stream of stress. In 2015, researchers at the Pew Research Center based in Washington, D.C., sought to find out if social media induces more stress than it relieves. In the survey of 1,800 people, women reported being more stressed than men. Twitter was found to be a significant contributor because it increased their awareness of other people's stress. So it's like the boomerang effect of, whatever you put out there, you're going to get. So you might be venting and expressing yourself out there, but be wary of what you attract, because you attract what you are. And there's one thing I've learned, certainly more recently, last year or 2 years, is when you're venting, vent out in a private space. Don't vent out to the person that you're negotiating with, or in business or on social media, because that moment is a heated and personal moment with yourself. You're going through your own volcano, what erupts. It doesn't mean that it's intended for anybody else to hear it, because it's just a moment of venting. It's not the truth, because emotions distort reality. So when you're in that moment of distress, or just working things out and the emotions boil over like a volcano, rather than lava going onto other people, put it on paper, do it for yourself or your friends before putting it out there to the public. If it's on social media, if it's to anybody in your business or whatever it might be, just vent out in a way that means that you are not then left with the emotional echo of something you felt then, because then it keeps you perpetuated in that echo or blast chamber.
Yes, and remember that stress is caused by material attachments. So material attachments or any kinds of addictions will put you in that moment of stress, in that feeling of stress, because of the withdrawal symptoms, as well as chasing a feeling symptom. This is the thing with social media, with internet itself. Like I said before, the immediate gratification creates a short fuse kind of reaction that anticipates gratification instantly, right? So having to chase this kind of approval, through your likes, through your comments, through your followers, it also creates a really stressful environment, because you are then projecting outwardly and chasing a certain outcome. It becomes really fertile ground for addiction. And what does addiction cause you? It causes, like I said, withdrawal symptoms. It causes stress. It causes fatigue. It causes disconnection from who you truly are, because it makes you focus outwardly.
Mm-hmm. And it's if you're a parent out there and has children, one of the toughest things is making sure the children are not so influenced at such an early age and on devices, and are then bombarded with all of these different characters on social media, because everybody has their own stuff, they're all venting, and your children are picking up that pollution. It's energy pollution. And it is a constant battle of making sure that they're not pulled away, because social media is intended to attract you and to demand your attention 24/7. As soon as they slip and they don't have your attention, they are not earning anything. So their job is to make it as addictive as possible, which is a battle for parents out there. And if you're a parent out there, I would love to hear, because we've developed a game soon going to be out there called the Value Game. It's been helping our children earn the right to be able to jump onto certain devices once they've given something of value that they showed up in. So it's an exchange rather than them just being able to have it all the time. So, are you struggling with your children jumping onto social media? Are you thinking, what to do about it? Maybe we can do a separate video for parents out there who, of course, struggle with children on social media.
Yeah. So social media as well as internet is actually a resource, bank, because it's the bank of information. Nothing that's been done on social media ever goes away. It doesn't forget, internet doesn't forget. At the same time as, as we are exploring this maybe lower level, kind of like a more shallow interpretation of information exchange. If we were to dig deeper and you were really to honor your passions, you were to honor your callings that you have, internet is an amazing resource ground for you to be able to find any information you need in order to create the life you want, through courses, through online books, through trainings, through videos, to use that tool as something that personally develops you rather than personally deteriorates you is a sure way to take control over your life.
Researchers in Austria found that participants reported lower moods after using Facebook for 20 minutes compared to those who just browse the internet. So just to stop there, a research shows 20 minutes on it lowers your mood. Why do you think that is? I think it's potentially seeking something again outside of yourself. The chemical, I'm looking for a hit, and then seeing something to make you feel, they've got something that I don't. So you're seeking something, it's taken away from you, and then it's like the chemicals raise and then it withdraws. I mean, this is
actually what causes mental disorders, because this jump between the high elevated kind of experience, it has to be followed by a downward spiral. It's like the crazy eight, I think, that Tony Robbins talks about. So once it spikes your adrenaline, that there is a downward spiral that will take you down and bring you to a more depressed mood, because of its very quick hit kind of
well, fast food. What happens when you eat fast food? It feels good in the moment, but it makes you feel like crap afterwards. So the study suggested that people felt that way because they saw it as a waste of time. So that is also another indication that they know they're wasting their life. Wasting time, what does that really mean? I am here, got a limited amount of time, and I'm putting all my time into a black hole of social media. Who am I actually giving my time to? So people are realizing and going, I feel like I'm wasting my time. No wonder you feel dejected, and the fact that it keeps pulling you, knowing you're wasting your time, to a platform that just absorbs energy. It doesn't give you energy, it absorbs energy and money and time. A good or bad mood may also spread between people on social media, according to researchers from the University of California, who assessed the emotional content of over 1 billion status updates from more than 100 million Facebook users between 2009 and 2012. Wow.
Wow, that is actually daunting, a daunting figures, daunting research, because it actually is quite saddening to see that, no?
Well, it's again the venting, right? People are using it to vent something. It's a mental disorder that is in public display. And people are absorbing this energy and wondering why they feel the way they feel and giving up their power. It's sort of like watching someone who's not well walking in the streets and shouting out things and nobody doing anything about it. They're just out there venting and shouting, really crying for help. That's really the deeper meaning behind it. And rather than sort of helping them, that leaves you then going into, as we said at the beginning, depression, anxiety, loneliness, self-harm, and of course, suicide. This is where it takes you.
Yes, it's like energy pollution. It's like being in conductive waters, because waters can translate energy and send energy out, right? Like this is what we're all about, really. It's all about energy. So when you're going out there and you are offloading your energetic debris, of your unsolved inner, conflicts, then the other people, first of all, they are likely to identify with that if they haven't worked on that either. And it becomes like a cancerous spread of cancerous cells throughout the world. So keep your immune system strong by staying discerned about the content you are ingesting.
Yeah, absolutely. Spot on there. It's fast food, right? What do you want to choose? Where are you eating from? And we see the quality of people around us. We have to choose who we have around us, because when you see people who are on fast food and they want fast information, they want to live in the past, they want to stay in this place of blame, victim, that mindset, you can feel that their life is at the surface, and they live the representation of what they are taking in and how they use social media. It's up to you how you decide to use it, the depth you want to go into it. And for us, we like to, should we say, have the fine dining experience on communication.
Oh,
We
yeah.
really want to get into the depth of communication. And this is what we have these between ourselves on a daily basis. That is what led us to, talk to you guys.
Yeah, it's like conscious living, conscious lifestyle. So instead of, again, using the same analogy, instead of spiking your insulin every time you're getting fast food, or you're eating some kind of, chocolates or whatever that is not ultimately good for you, you opt for sustaining your lifestyle in a way that is conscious, so you don't need to experience these ups and downs. You just gradually rise on all levels of your life, not just for a quick hit, but to have that deep, full satisfactions in everything that you do. And that's the real life mastery.
Yeah. And it's bang on. I mean, going on to the fast food and banging on about fast food, it's easier to see when somebody has issues to deal with when they are literally eating fast food, because they're bigger, the skin, there's obviously a mental disorder. Not that they're mentally ill and need to go somewhere. There's a particular trauma. There's something that needs to be worked on. It's easier to see it. The thing about consuming fast food, social media and things like this, it's not so easy to spot, right? It's not evident in you. But when you walk into somebody's life who is feeding and gorging on reality TV and really surface stuff, playing the games out there,
Without judgment, by the way.
Yeah, this is not a judgment. This is just a realization of what do you want to use it for? If you want to have the surface life and not take responsibility for your life and put the blame on others, you'll then be aware of what you're willing to feed in yourself and what you're venting about. But when you start to take responsibility for your life, you start to look for different things within social media to support where you're going. You know, listen to things like this, or Russell Brand, or other influencers that are their agenda isn't to sell you anything, but it's to find the truth, right? To open your eyes. And when you start to go down that route, and it's about depth, it's just shining it back within yourself and going, okay, that will show up in your life. You'll start to have more depth. You'll start to have better relationships with yourself and other people. That's the difference between gorging fast food social media to those that want to look for the philosophers or the educationers or the educationers. I don't even think that's a word. How ironic is that? And different means of people who actually have something that they want to share because they have no agenda. There's no other intention with your attention apart from giving it back to you, which then you feel more energified. Is that another word? I'm making words up here. I'm just going to keep going. So Alex's dictionary is going to come out after this. You're going to get more energy because you watch something rather than feeling like it was a waste of time. You know, that's how you can.
Yeah, because it's again coming back to self-love and self-worth and self-appreciation. When you love yourself enough to ingest the information in a loving way, and then you treat it like medicine, as they say, you know, food be thy medicine. Well, you know, information be thy medicine. You know, ingest it in a almost like in a real ritualistic ceremonial way of really like appreciating its essence, letting it heal you on a cellular level, because this is the intention of what we do behind here. Because we're not just talking to you on your ego level, we're talking to you on your subconscious level. Our energy fields are touching each other right now in a way that can hopefully grow beyond things. It can stir some things up. I'm pretty sure that some people's egos can get stirred because of the things that we're saying can be quite confronting and controversial. But in the end of it, it's like homeopathy. You know, they give you something that is actually in its essence a poison, for example, but it creates a certain reaction in you that purges out any impurities and imperfections so that you can have a holistic healing. This is the intention behind what we are giving here to you guys.
Yeah, the truth pill.
The truth pill.
And it is a tough one to swallow sometimes. And for anybody out there who is going through a struggling time, but they're willing to swallow that truth pill, I commend you because it's not easy. And it really isn't. We want to hear you guys and your story, and you know, what is it? How did you feel about watching this? What questions have come up? What would you like us to cover? Please make sure you comment below.
Yeah, and you know, to round it all off, of course, we have brought up a lot of things and diseases and dysfunctions that, say, the social media and internet can bring, but we cannot discard the gratitude that we feel for this platform, because thanks to this platform we have the chance to speak to you guys, and it is an incredible opportunity, an incredible possibility to be touching base with that many people all over the world with pure intention. So, you know, in the light of it all, social media, internet, whatever it is, it always comes down to choice, and it comes down to your inner power that you either claim and honor, or you give away in your unconscious contribution to this black hole.
Exactly. And none of it's wrong or right here. No. We're not here labeling, and you know, we have our way and other people have their way. It's just knowing that if you're feeling all of these feelings, to take responsibility for it is nobody else, right? And that's the hardest thing to take, and I get that. But the sooner you take that truth, the sooner you'll start to heal, and the sooner you'll be living the life you truly desire and deserve. And this is what, you know, ultimately we want, because it was not easy before taking the truth pill, and it wasn't easy during, but I've got to tell you, afterwards, it is so worth it.
Yeah, so worth it. And it's so worth it spending this time talking to you guys. Thank you so much for your attention. Thank you for your time. May it, you know, impact you in a way that helps you recognize your self-worth and honor yourself even further and even more. Really thank you guys for being here.
And make sure you put your next topic request. As you know, we listen and we want to share what you have to say. Much love.
Much love, guys. Bye.